talk about is, okay, other than the wheelbarrows full of money, what else can we do together? And I'm gonna start by asking each of you, and I don't get to all three. Let me invite you each to respond to what are your goals and whether you're thinking specifically of your district or you're thinking of the city, you're thinking of the state. What are your goals in the arts-related area?
The first and foremost, the goal of the chair of the Cultural Affairs Committee of the City Council is to defend and protect our funding, right? So we can't not talk a little bit about funding. We're in a time where no one wants to raise taxes, even on the wealthiest people in the state, and yet they feel comfortable at the same time. That's right, it's not true, I believe, that the three of us may hold a different position on that issue. Although I'll only speak for myself. I actually think that cutting and slashing and burning services that are critical to the city of New York and devastating the arts is an unacceptable consequence of where we find ourselves in this day and age. So I'm going to fight, we're all going to fight. I need you to help me fight as hard as we can. So we're going to get what we can out of this budget, but these are really difficult times, and we know some cuts are looming. So if we take away how much we get, then we have to talk about, well, what do we do with the money that we do get? And I think that one of the goals for me is to continue to expand access to the funding that we get. Obviously, we want $1 bazillion in funding for the Cultural Development Fund and for our institutions. But whatever we get, whether it's 20 million, 25 million, 18 million, we have to talk about access to that pot of funding, who gets it, and increasing the knowledge of how to get that funding. And I know the Department of Cultural Affairs is here, and I think we both share that goal. And I think the quicker that we can get to that goal, the better we're off. Obviously, I do want to see more out-of-borough arts organizations get more funding. I want to see more groups that are serving immigrant populations and emerging populations gain access to these funding streams. Some of them are not aware of these funding streams. We need to get more groups applying for the first time, more groups getting accepted. I think everybody needs to convey to their council member, to their elected official, that this is just as important. I mean, you have got to make a personal connection with that elected official. You have got to show up at a town hall meeting. You've got to go to something. You've got to raise this issue. This issue. Right? So go to a town hall meeting, everyone's going to talk about sanitation, snow, whatever it is. But someone's got to get up and say, funding for cultural organizations, funding for the arts, where are you on that issue? Is that one of your top priorities? Are you going to be in that room fighting with Jimmy Van Bramer, you know, when we're down to the wire in June and everyone's talking about all of the other services that cannot be cut? And
So my name's Liz Kruger, and I'm the state senator representing the east side from 100th down to 19th, and then all the way across Midtown, 19th to 59th, as far as 8th Avenue. So I have the theater district, I have Museum Mile, I have a huge number of big and also small arts organizations in my community. And like Jimmy Van Bramer, I have many, many people who work in the arts and love the arts in my district. So there's a local reason for me to be so involved and concerned about what happens to the arts community in New York City as an elected official, but also as a New Yorker who recognizes one of the reasons the city of New York is still, even though some people don't like to say it, like the best city in the world, maybe the center of the universe. We don't love going to Albany as much as you like staying in the state. I'm not speaking for you, Deborah. So I know you can on that. From a very, very basic perspective of why the city of New York is great and will stay great, it's because of what you all do. It's the integration and the relationship of the arts to so many of the businesses here in New York. Jimmy pointed out tourism. Well, tourism means they come to New York City to go see the arts, but then they stay in our hotels, giving huge numbers of people jobs, right, in our hotels, and they eat at our restaurants, and they shop at our retail stores. And so there's an entire economic model for the city that is triggered by how many people are involved in coming here for our great arts. We have to do a much better job of talking about the arts as a business that has an economic development impact on the state of New York and the city. The projected number of the arts impact on the economy of New York State is $25.7 billion. So please don't think you're just somebody out there who loves the arts and is trying to use up desperately needed government money. You are very, very active participants in the economic future of the state of New York.
There is a cognitive dissonance between what government says and what it winds up doing. The city feels that it's great that all of these wonderful neighborhoods have developed, and then they want to help new developers, real estate developers, help push out the people who made those neighborhoods the terrific, wonderful, vibrant communities that they are and that I have the pleasure of representing. Some of the discussion that you have when you go to beg members of the legislature, whether it's the city legislature called the council or the legislature in Albany, the assembly and senate, is perhaps raising a little consciousness along the way that the money that falls through the cracks, that somehow nobody can quite keep track of, because there was so much going to outside contractors, that you're incredibly efficient, you're very small, operations run on a shoestring, that you know, the $50,000 generates so much more. What you have to do is get all of your different organizations across the state talking to all of their legislators, so that it's not 7 people from Manhattan saying the arts are important to Speaker Silver. It's about getting 25 or 30 members from Utica to Stony Brook to Williamsport to other places you've never heard of, all together. You know, you want to have enough people raising that. And you want people in your local communities who are associated so that it's not the usual suspects.
But I think we have also learned what we all suspected coming into this room, or you coming into this room, what we have learned again in spades, is that here are 2 and here were 3 of our elected officials who care passionately about the success of what we do. So thank you both so much.